Welcome back, guys. We are now up to our third exercise, and this is where the fun really begins because we are actually going to start to render something more tangible and more exciting than just a sphere. So, I would have given you by now a concept art week 5 folder, and it would contain all of these things. We are going to go to the exercises folder, and we're going to go to a JPEG file called the exercise 3 pixie face. So we can start that just simply by ignore this. That's just what I had previously. This is what it's going to look like on your Photoshop. Alright, and what you'll need to do now, you might see that on my right here I have a color palette and it looks different than yours. Well, that is because you will not have installed a custom color palette that I have provided for you. I didn't make it. It's made by someone named Tim Van Roden from CG Concept. He's very good and he's kind enough. This is for free and it's open source basically. You can download it and use it without having to credit him, but I'd like to do it anyway. So your color palette option can be found in the folder that I've named color palette. So for those of you still working on GIMP, there's a GIMP instructions in there. This is the thing that you want to keep an eye out for because I already have mine. Mine is already open. However, if you don't have yours, simply double clicking on it would open it on your Photoshop. So now as you can see I have double palette, but that's alright. This is handy because up here, if you can see, these are your skin colors, so you have it already there. Sometimes, especially when you're starting, it's really difficult to figure out what color looks good for a face. It might look too orange, too yellow, so this is just handy to have. So that is the color palette that I'm going to use. And this is a pixie face. I haven't yet named her. You can use my drawing in for future, whatever, if you want to color it, as long as you credit me and say line drawing is done by Natasha Lookman, then you can use it in your portfolio and such. I'm more than happy for you to do that. So first we are wanting to change this picture so that we can preserve just the lines without having to worry about coloring on top. So to do that we need to go to our layers function. So you quickly just go to Windows and find your layers there, right there. Then this will come up. As you can see, it's called background and it has a lock in it, meaning you can't really change anything about it. We don't want that. To cancel it out, double click on it and just press OK. So it turns into layer 0 and the lock is gone. So now you can do different things with it. Thing to preserve lines, it's very simple. You go up here, and GIMP users, you'll have this option as well. You will change this to multiply. Nothing seems to happen when you do this, but you will see the difference. Now we're going to add a new layer. You still remember this icon. Just click on this and put it underneath. And I'm simply going to color this, to name this color. Alright, so the beauty about this, for example, if I'm going to just get my brush and color underneath, see how it doesn't affect the line at all. Simple, easy, and definitely very handy to have. So your layer is down here, and Swatch, the one that I just downloaded from Tim Van Roden, is just here. So let's start with, I'd like to go with a middle color, which is this one here. Okay, and just like the sphere, we're using the exact same technique. Let's go back to our layer, making sure that this is selected. Just like the sphere, we'll start with 100% opacity, no pressure sensitivity on. I'm making sure here again, transfers off, smoothing is off. And we will just simply color. I'm using a very big brush, and if you're not confident enough to use such a big one, feel free to switch to a smaller one. Basically, I'm not coloring the hair, And don't worry if it's a bit, you know, feeling a bit sloppy here. Feeling a bit dizzy because I'm a bit sick, but I will finish this demo. So you get what I mean. I'm just doing this quickly. I'm not even paying too much attention to the fancy details because again we'll go back inwards and fix the little things. So it's good to start big and then work your way in as you finalize the little details. So don't be too scrutinizing. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. Now, just like the sphere, this is our base color. We are going to now switch into a softer brush, soft edge, with around 38% opacity and the pressure on. Make sure to have it on. And now, moving back to swatches. If you can't find swatches, again, go to Window and Swatches. We'll pick the lighter color. So this was our original. So now we're going to go, say this one. Alright. So now let's think about where the light's going to hit. Because this is, you're just starting, I'm just going to make sure that the light only hits at the front. So to make it easy, so imagine that the light's coming straight from a little above, so like there. Okay, but it's in front of her. So now, pressing the brush. Nice. I have to do this again, which is very strange. Okay, so opacity, turn to 37, pressure on, and soft brush. So, first thing we want to do is we want to bring up the overall lightness. Remember, this is the first step that we did with the sphere. So this is what I'm doing, just leaving the edge bit. And I'm assuming if the light's from the front, then there will be some sort of light down here as well. I'm just doing that really quickly. Alright. Now I'm going to start picking out even lighter area by picking oops, and starting to pick. So if you press your face, you'll notice that there are bits that are protruding out, especially the nose. Noses usually come up pretty high, and your forehead usually comes up a bit. So the things that are protruding out would definitely be closer to the light, and therefore it would receive more of the highlight. Okay, and now I think it's becoming a bit too light and I want to bring it down with a shadow, so therefore I will pick the darkest color and start to sculpt the face, basically adding where the light would recede. Okay, so add some cheekbone there maybe. Usually in between the nose it'll get a bit dark. And usually with concept artists they would start with something like this, and then eventually they would reduce the opacity of the line so they end up with paintings, so they don't actually want to see the lines at all. And it'll take hours to get there, so I really don't want us to have to do that, which is why I'm only doing this very, very quickly. Now, if you find that these colors are not actually giving you dark enough colors, you can always go back to the color palette and choose something darker. For example, the shadow underneath, because her neck is, her chin is protruding out, it would definitely create a cast shadow underneath her jaw, like that. And there will be some down here as well. And don't forget that you will also need to whiten her eyeballs. But be careful, guys. Some people at this stage would accidentally color on that. You don't want to do that, definitely. Okay. Feel free to color her hair any color you want. This is in fact your drawing. I mean your coloring. So feel free. And eyebrows. So you get the idea, basically. And when you are ready, you can start going inwards and start working on the details of the close-up. And once you're ready to think, oh, I want to reduce the line quality a bit because it's becoming too overpowering, then by all means you can do that. Just go up here and turn it down. As you can see, the lines are starting to fade. And then you can start going back again, and you can see the shading is a bit too strong. You can go back there and start maybe adding a mid color to make that shading smoother, the transition not as jarring or as strong. Okay. Now, as you can see, the layers are starting to have these checkerboard. That's because this is becoming lower in opacity, and this is transparent in nature, so we need to add another layer underneath right at the bottom and just quickly color it a flat solid, oh, for example, cream color, perhaps any color you want, really, something like that. I'm happy with that. And to color the entire thing, use the paint bucket, and you can have it here. If you can't see it, just hold your pen beside the gradient tool, because you won't be able to see the paint bucket, and simply click on it, and there you go. This would be this color until you actually put colors on your hair. Alright, guys. So from here on, really, it's up to you what you want to do with the rest of it. I mean, I usually don't like using a red for lips. But some people prefer that. And there's so much detail that you can do. I'm not going to show everything because it's going to end up with a 3-hour demo. But just keep in mind that highlights make things look like it's closer to you, and darkness would recede that part. You can always play around also with highlights, really bright highlights, like a white. Oops, see I'm coloring on there, should have done it. And increase there. There you go. Sometimes the tiniest amount of highlight can really make the most effective thing. I don't actually like that bit. Go. And even the eyeball itself. I might choose. Try to avoid using black, or if you want to do it, use it at the very last because it's so overpowering and it can really make everything look fake. You don't want things to look fake. You can see I'm starting to sculpt the inner working. I want to make it look as if she's got a very heavy eyelid and therefore her, what is this? Eyelashes are really just covering most of her eyeballs like that. Okay, so have fun with it. I am really looking forward to see what you come up with this character. But again, this is just an exercise. I won't be marking this, but I do want to see how far you can take this lesson and basically make it look as realistic as possible, and also using the color palette if you can without being too restricted about it. Okay, so good luck guys, and ask me if you have any questions, and yeah, show me your work once you're done.